Welcome to this Quick Take Rapid Learning module. Our topic today, Tough Negotiations, how to hold your ground with a price bully. We've all faced buyers who take pride in squeezing vendors. They're price bullies. They know you want the business badly, and you're tempted, so tempted, to back off on price. If you have to take a little less to close the deal, what's so wrong with that? A lot, actually. Unnecessary price concessions hurt your profitability. They embolden prospects to ask for more concessions, both in this sale and later ones. They devalue your product. The customer thinks if they were so quick to discount, they must have been overpriced in the first place. And perhaps, worst of all, they erode trust in you as a sales professional. So it's vitally important to stand your ground. In this quick take, we'll show you what's really going on when price bullies demand concessions, how to counter price objections in a confident, non-confrontational way, and why you shouldn't be too quick to solve problems that seem to be standing in the way of the sale. For the past 50 years, researchers have looked at negotiations, including price negotiations, in the context of game theory. As in any game, negotiations advance through moves. You make a move, for example, you quote a price. The buyer counters, and so on. In an ideal world, such moves and counter-moves result in a deal where both sides win. But price bullies want a win-lose, not a win-win. Their counter-moves usually take the form of a new problem that can only be solved with a lower price. So the buyer says something like, "Your price is over my budget," or "My boss will never go for it." Think of it as a hot potato that the buyer tosses in your lap. How you respond to these moves is critical to getting the outcome you want. The natural response is to react to it. You hold on to the hot potato and defend your price. When you play that game, you lose. But you do have another option. Instead of reacting to the countermove, you can respond with what researcher Deborah Kolb calls a restorative turn, one that puts you back on an equal footing with the buyer and, in effect, tosses the hot potato back where it belongs. To see how, let's look at a typical negotiation. Sally submits a proposal to Bob with a $12,000 price tag. Bob replies, "Sally, your price is too high. We have only $10,000 in the budget." Bob's bullying strategy is to throw Sally a hot potato and make his budget Sally's problem. He's effectively said, "Sally, if you want this deal, you have to fix my budget problem." Sally has a choice. If she elects to hold on to the hot potato, to accept that Bob's budget is her problem, she's on the defensive. "Well, Bob," she says, "our price is fair." Bob counters, "I have lower quotes from 3 other vendors. You've got to come down to be competitive." "Yes, but they don't offer the same quality as we do." Bob says, "Well, they say they do. Look, Sally, I'd like you to get this deal and perhaps more down the road, but you've got to get your price in line. Can you do it or not?" It's not going well for Sally, is it? The hot potato is burning a hole in her palm. She'll tell herself, "Gee, Bob's ready to sign. There's only one thing standing in the way of my winning this sale, the price." So she offers a $1,000 concession. That's the sound of money going into Bob's pocket, but he's not finished. "I appreciate your willingness to work with me," he says, "but it's still too high. There's no way I can get it past my boss." See what Bob's done? He's thrown her another hot potato. He's made the demands of his boss Sally's problem to solve. Sally racks her brain for cost-saving strategies, does some mental figuring, and gets the price down another $1,000. Sally walks away thinking she did the best she could under the circumstances, but she didn't. She allowed Bob to control this negotiation. She made unnecessary concessions that left money on the table and, long-term, eroded Bob's trust in her and her company. Rather than hold on to the hot potato, Sally's second option was to respond with a restorative turn, a move that puts her back on equal footing with Bob. She throws the hot potato right back, refusing to make Bob's problems her problems, not by getting confrontational, but by countering with smart questions. When Bob complains that her price is too high, Sally replies, "Bob, help me understand what you mean when you say my price exceeds your budget. Is it more than you want to pay, or is it that you don't see the value?" Notice that her questions revolve around the word "you." Sally is skillfully throwing the hot potato right back to Bob, where it belongs. Because Sally doesn't have a problem with her price, Bob does. Bob will likely downplay the value or suggest that Sally's deliverable is only worth $10,000. But Sally's done her homework, so she's prepared. Instead of becoming defensive, she throws back the hot potato again. She says, "Bob, in our needs discussion, you laid out 5 objectives. If we eliminate one of them, I think I can make this project fit your budget. Which one do you see as nice to have rather than a must-have?" She's being helpful, trying to solve Bob's problem. If Bob's a really aggressive price bully, he'll come right out and say, "I have another vendor who'll do it for $10,000. Meet their price or I'll go with them." In most cases, that's a bluff, and Sally's response should be, "Bob, I'm sure you have other options, but if price is your only consideration and you have a better price, why are you still talking to me?" Notice Sally keeps using the words you and your, keeping the hot potato in his hands, sending the message that it's Bob's problem, not hers. Most likely he doesn't want the other vendor's product. He wants Sally's, so he'll have to figure out how he can get it. To sum up, price bullies will try to take control by throwing you the hot potato, making you feel responsible for solving their problem. You stay in control by refusing to accept the problem as your own, asking questions that reframe it as the buyer's problem, and helping the buyer solve his problem, not your problem. Thanks for watching. Now return to the program page and take the quiz. Also, please take 15 seconds to click on the survey link and fill out an evaluation of this program.